Hello, everybody. This is Tito Bort, CEO at Alti Sales, with another Sdr Superstar series. And I am really excited today because I've been talking to Jess Wilson from Vidyard for a couple of minutes already. And this is going to be a super, super fun conversation. Welcome, Jess.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, definitely. So, Jess, this is a pretty interesting connection here. Some of the other SDR Superstar series guests that I've had connected with me over, some of my blog posts or some LinkedIn content or something else. And Jess, I found she won a competition within Vidyard for like March Madness, and she ended up number one there. And I really just commented on that post saying like, oh, I should totally interview Jess for her series. So today was the first time I've ever talked to her. She had no context about anything about myself or Alti Sales or anything or the series. And we've spent a long time just chatting about a million things. And I'm impressed by not only her work, but her lifestyle, her mindset, and so many other cool things. And this is going to be a slightly different format today. So we're going to really dive deeper into what is Jess doing with video to drive a lot of engagement. And it should be super helpful for the audience. So thanks, Jess, for joining us. It's awesome to have you.
Thank you.
Cool. So let's dive right in. Tell us about the company. You're with Vidyard. What do you guys do? Who's your target audience?
Yeah. So the company is Vidyard. It's been around 8 years, based out of Kitchener, Ontario in Canada. What we do, our main bread and butter and what we start as is we are a video intelligence marketing platform for marketers to host all of their video content in one place and then push it out to their website and their different channels, and then get in-depth analytics coming back all to the one platform, and then being able to push that viewer analytics into your marketing automation platform and your CRM to understand how the content's resonating with your prospects, to generate leads from those videos, and also score those leads more accurately for your sales team based off of the level of engagement, and segment them and lead them down different custom nurture campaigns. And then with that data being pushed into CRM, you're actually ultimately able to understand what videos are influencing pipeline and revenue one. So that's the main bread and butter, but we also have a sales enablement tool called Go Video, which is what I use in my day-to-day when prospecting, leveraging quick 45 to 60-second videos in my outreach to really help me break through that inbox clutter and stand out. And just video in general, we can expand throughout the whole org as well within internal communications and customer success and training and onboarding.
Cool. So it seems like everything video. And I was going to mention that, I've had Go Video for a long time, and I've used it here and there. And I think it's an awesome tool, so people should check that out. And I think any SDR can go and download it. Do you have a freemium model? Can they use it for free at the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. There's a free Chrome extension called Go Video, so they can play around with that, and it will give you the back-end engagement, real-time analytics when your prospects are watching it. Obviously, there's some pluses to the enterprise version, but I'd love to have those watching the interview try the free version and then reach out when you're ready to take that next step, because you definitely will see some success when incorporating video within your outreach.
Cool. That's awesome. So let's talk more about your work. I mean, you beat the rest of your team. You killed it. You won that competition, March Madness. Tell us about your day-to-day life. How much inbound versus outbound do you do?
Yeah, our BDR, SDR roles are all outbound. So we're prospecting, we're working with our A's. They'll give us a list of accounts, but then we're going in searching for the personas that we want to pull in and reach out to.
Okay, fantastic. You get accounts, you're researching the personas, and then you have some sequences built out, and you reach out. And what is that like? Like, when do you incorporate video? Do you do it on the 10th touch, on the 5th touch, or?
For me and our team at Vidyard, it's the first touch, because if you have your prospect opening that first email, like that's the one chance you really have to grab their attention. So if you can come up with a creative subject line where they've opened your email, then having a thumbnail of a video there with a picture of me holding a little white screen saying, Tito, press play. And with that play button, that call to action is so powerful that people typically will click on that. Obviously, I include some text as well in the email, personalize that to really stand out for that prospect and so that it makes sense and adds value to their specific role.
Cool. We're definitely going to dive deeper into that in a second, because I want to dissect what are you exactly doing so that, you know, the rest of the audience can learn something. That's the purpose of this, just put you on the spotlight and allow you to share your insight. So what do you get measured on? Is it just book as many meetings as possible? Do you need to have those meetings actually show up? Is it sales qualified opportunities, pipeline created, revenue closed? There's so many ways to measure SDRs.
Yeah.
What do you get incentivized to do?
So for our role as SDRs, SQOs, sales qualified opportunities, is what our KPIs are measured on and our commission structure is based on. But we do have an awesome dashboard in Salesforce that we can see, you know, our meetings, our opportunities, how many contacts we're working, all of that shows, and like the pipeline we've built and then the closed revenue.
Cool. And then we were talking a little bit before, you know, Vidyard has an interesting team structure. You are on key accounts, so essentially the biggest, most enterprise accounts. What is your quota in terms of SQOs per month?
Yeah, so for key accounts, it is 3 SQOs and then 5 meetings that I typically hold on my own without my AE on the call. Just because we've found in key accounts that it's a little bit harder to navigate the huge organization and get to the right people. So there's a lot more conversations that need to happen. And on those calls, you know, I'm typically getting referrals and key information to get to that next person, to get to that, you know, that decision maker, and then bring my AE on for that call. And then that's when, if he deems it a good opportunity, would qualify as an SQO. But there's a lot of meetings that kind of take place sometimes to get there. So, but as an SME or mid-market rep, because I was a mid-market rep before this, we are based on 5 SQOs.
Okay, so
per month. Yeah.
And tell us, you know, best performer, how many SQOs did you get last month?
Last month as in April, because today is the last day.
Yeah, there's the last day. So this month, I guess.
Yeah.
April.
I got 8. Yeah.
You got 8. Okay,
Yes.
cool. So 8, you needed 3, so that's like 200% plus quota, which is really, really awesome.
I had some good, sorry to cut you off. I had some good pipeline built from March Madness when I was hitting the mean streets on the phone and the email to drive that activity, and lots of first touches and working on bringing a lot of new people in my cadence. So that helped definitely to build my pipeline. So from that activity in March, building my pipeline for April really set me up.
That's awesome. Cool. Let's dissect your work. We got to understand what you're doing here. What can the audience learn from you? What can my team learn from what you're doing? So tell us about your secret sauce. You said, you know, I usually ask, is it social? Is it email? Is it phone calls? I assume here the majority of your opportunities are coming through video.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So like I said before, my first touch after researching a prospect will be a very personalized email with a very personalized video, and in the text talking about, you know, how our solution can benefit or solve a pain or give a gain to that particular person in their role. So if they have information on their LinkedIn, which most of the people I'm prospecting do, I can really try to decipher what is most important to them. And then I include a 45 to 60-second video. And from there, yeah, that play button and that video and that personalization is huge.
Yeah, and that sounds great and all, but I like to get more and more practical with the audience, right? I want action items. I want step-by-step guides. So why don't I have you maybe open up my LinkedIn profile. I am a potential customer for Vidyard, and show us, what would you research? What would you tie your messaging to? And just pretend that nobody's here. Just pretend that like you're prospecting me, right? Are you up for sharing
Yeah.
your screen and
Yeah.
showing the
Okay.
audience what you do?
Okay, perfect. I do have your LinkedIn because I was watching some of your interviews. So I'll share my screen.
Okay.
All right, one sec. All right, can you see it?
I can see it. There we go.
There you are. All right, so I want to prospect you. I'll pull up your LinkedIn. I look that you are building and amplifying world-class sales development teams. So you run a team, go a little bit deeper into, finding out if it talks about how many teams or how many people on your team, and what the company sells as well. And then once I have my pitch down and see key points for you, so you're selling a sales team that ultimately helps companies. So I can't think of another company off the top of my head, but typically I was prospecting to a company last week that was a CRM. So I try to make it relevant and talk about current customers that like Salesforce that are leveraging this tool to make it relevant to their space. So then from here, I have this nifty Chrome extension. So this will pop up and I can either do a selfie style video or a screen share video if I wanted to and start on your LinkedIn page, which would also grab your attention. But I typically go with the selfie style. And then I would hit record. Hey Tito, it's Jessica here, reaching out to you today as I see that you manage a team of SDRs. And with your previous experience as an SDR yourself, I'm sure you can relate when your team is having trouble prospecting and breaking into new accounts. So I wanted to reach out and share with you how we're helping other sales teams from the likes of Salesforce and Adobe leverage video within their outreach to book more meetings, accelerate deal cycles, and ultimately cut through that inbox clutter to help stand out amongst the competition. So with this tool called Go Video, you're to be actually able to record one-to-one videos like this or screen share videos where they can walk through micro demos or pricing and proposals to really push that deal along, and then get real-time tracking notifications as to who's watching it and how much of that video that prospect has consumed. This will help your reps to prioritize their time more effectively based off of the level of engagement of that prospect, and then follow up with a tailored message. If you're interested in learning more, I'd love to connect and find out your current outreach process. My calendar will pop up at the end, so feel free to book in some time or shoot me a message. Looking forward to connecting. Have a great day. Boom. So that was 1 minute and 8 seconds. But typically I try to keep it within 45 to 55 seconds.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and then the video uploads and you can rename it whatever you want. And then send it.
That's cool. That's awesome. So
I'll stop sharing screen now.
Yeah. And then what I'll do for the audience is we will probably have you write an email exactly how you would write it to a prospect. Send me that video that you just recorded, and I can screenshot my inbox once I get that email, and it'll be at the bottom of this like video series. Like just scroll all the way down and you'll find it there. So that's really cool. I saw you, let's dissect this further, right? I saw you going to my experience. Do you ever dive deeper into activity or articles or other areas of LinkedIn, or do you just base it off of the experience?
I typically look at current role, previous roles. If there's not enough information in there that I can go off of to understand, what they care about, and what their job entails and what their priorities are, and responsibilities. I will look at articles. I'll also look on their Twitter, if they have a Twitter, to really see what their interests are beyond work, because I think it's really important. Prospects, the fact that you take even just 2 minutes to learn about them as a human being really stands out as well. Yeah,
definitely. How do you find their LinkedIn profiles? Just search their name on LinkedIn, or their Twitter profiles too.
Yes. Sometimes on LinkedIn, if you drop down on the contact page, it will have their Twitter LinkedIn if they have a Twitter. You just search their name and try to find it that way.
Cool. That's awesome. That seems like a pretty good process, and then you're killing your quota. So I imagine this works really well. Let's dive deeper into how your team works and how you've learned all the things you know. We had a pretty interesting conversation about a lot of different things, and even as an SDR, you're talking about their current state, their future state, SQO. So you seem pretty knowledgeable, despite the fact that you mentioned you've only been at Vidyard for 6 months. So props to your team. tell us about, how many SDRs total at Vidyard? How does the reporting structure work? Do you just report to AEs? Do you have SDR managers?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm on the West Coast. We opened a West Coast office just over a year and a half ago now. They had some remote uh, people working here, and then they got an actual physical office. So now we have our own office, which is really exciting. But there's about 200 staff in the Kitchener office and about 25 in the Vancouver, Canada office. But as a whole, as a BDR whole, there's about, right now there's 5 of us, but we're growing to 8 in the next few weeks as SDRs. And then over on the East Coast, I believe there's about 20 SDRs. So 25 total currently.
Wow, that's awesome. And then explain the SDR to AE ratio here. So you have 1-to-1 ratio as a key account, you said.
Yeah,
How
so
does
key account, there's only myself supporting our one key account AE. Mid-market, when I was working mid-market, there was only one mid-market rep in the West Coast that I matched up with. But I think it's a little bit different on the East Coast. I think there might be one SDR supporting 2 AEs. I'm not sure exactly of the breakdown, but in SME, in the small to medium enterprise, there is a couple of SDRs supporting a few AEs as well.
cool? I didn't ask this before, but are the AEs sourcing some of their own deals too? Are they using video and reaching out, and do they have all the
Yeah,
tools necessary?
definitely. So they, part of their part of their job description is also finding and prospecting as well.
Yeah.
They're encouraged to prospect some of their own deals, and they leverage this tool as well. They leverage it further in the deal cycle, right? So when they have meetings or demos, they will send a follow-up video to the prospect, recapping the meeting, talking about key points. Then further along, maybe walking through pricing and proposals when the deal gets further along, just so that messaging stays consistent and everyone that was on the call or that maybe missed the call has that recap. So the video can be leveraged throughout the whole deal cycle.
That is genius. You're making me think. I talk to a lot of companies that approach me to build their SDR teams, and these are very big deals and so on. And sometimes, they just go dark, like it happens to everybody. I should start using video. Like I just did a follow-up yesterday that I'm like, this is the 4th follow-up after they haven't gone to me forever. And
well, think about it. Video is so much more digestible as well, rather than text, your generic text-based emails, right? So it's a fresh approach to prospecting. I'll send you some best practices after.
okay, that sounds great. Yeah, it also seems to me like video is a great thing to do during office hours. And like your effectiveness might vary across industries. Like I feel like for selling to salespeople or people who are very office oriented, it's great. It'd be pretty hard to sell people via video at restaurants or like sending late at night when people are mostly checking their email via their phone or things like that.
You
Have
can
you
still
used
watch video on our phone, and
on
our
phone?
backend analytics tells us, if they're watching it on a desktop, whether it be Chrome or Safari, or if they're
Right,
watching it from, a cell phone.
right.
So, and you're actually able to record video from your cell phone, or at least that's what's going to be coming up soon.
That's really cool. Yeah. I just whenever I play video on my phone, I usually don't have my headsets around, so I just like watch the image but not the sound. And prospecting videos, you kind of need the sound, but yeah, I would totally send a bunch of videos during business hours. I would totally send videos for follow-up, especially once you have a connection. And then you're going to show us how you actually do subject lines and quick text and all that to enter new accounts, which I'm going to post a picture of at the bottom. Um, so tell us about more, how you've learned all these things. Let's talk about what the company provides you. What are some tools that you're using today?
Yeah, definitely. So our tech stack, we use Salesforce, and then we work out of Sales Loft with our cadences and templates. Then we also use Sales Navigator. That's where I do a lot of my prospecting through LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and then either pulling them in right through the Sales Navigator within Salesforce to search those different accounts, and then pulling them in as a contact, or you can transfer them in as a lead right from Sales Nav as well. I also am using Zoom. So Zoom info is great to also find contacts for prospecting. And then we also use Built With, which helps us to understand, when we're on a prospect's website, what the website is built with and what technologies they're already using, and if they're using a competitor, or what their marketing automation platform is, or their CRM. Because as I said, like when I did that prospecting to you, that was the sales use case, but marketing is our bread and butter. So it's important to understand what they're leveraging.
Cool. And then you're doing research every day, trying to find new prospects for your target accounts. Are you doing all that yourself? Do you have a team that finds the contact info? It seems like it's mostly you.
Yep. So our account executives will give us a list of companies that they want us to work, and then from there we go in and search the company name in Sales Nav, look for different specific personas that we target, like lead, head of demand generation, or sales enablement, or sales operations, or digital marketing, or product marketing, and then from there, pull them in and start working it and expand and reach out to multiple people within that organization.
Cool. Tell us more about your sequences here that you have built. You do, seems like some email touches, video touches. You're calling to what do you have all that provided by the company? Do you have all the templates that you need? Do you have a script that you need to follow on the phone, or is it kind of like freestyle? You can do whatever you want. How'd you get trained on this?
Yeah, so they give us everything we need. The key responsibilities of the personas we're going after, what they care about, what their pains are, what they're, what they gain, what they're looking for. They offer us cadences and templates within SalesLoft, but we do know that time and time again that first touch is the most important. If your prospect opens the email, so we do put a huge importance on personalizing that first touch in the text and with a video. Now you can do account-based videos where you can share it with multiple people from the same sales team. But I typically do one-to-one videos and have the person's name written on the whiteboard, or you could do the company name and then prospect that way. But, if you want to hit more people at scale, but once you're used to leveraging video within your outreach, it doesn't take too long. If you know what you're selling, and you recognize that you're going to have to do the research anyways if you want to personalize the text, right? So you're doing the same amount of research if you really want to personalize that first touch, but then adding a 45-second or 1-minute video, it doesn't add too much more time to that first touch. And then from there, also calling, leaving voicemails, and then social touches as well is important. I have, if I see an email bounce and it just, doesn't go through, or maybe it says that email is incorrect, I will go back to their LinkedIn and then I'll add them, and I'll also either message them right there or wait for them to accept and then send a message, and also include my video through LinkedIn. You can share videos through LinkedIn as well.
Oh, that is genius. It's funny. I have part of our onboarding process as an SDR into Alti Sales is to watch all the interviews that I do with people like you that have been doing great work. It helps them just get trained and enabled in their job, and they know how to leverage tools. And I love the way you're describing how you approach it and how you try again through LinkedIn and the importance of the first touch and recording video, right? And I imagine you really care about kind of like what everything looks like, right? It's not just about like you and your face. You don't want to show up in the office, wearing a hat and whatever, or maybe you do. Maybe it's
Well,
like
that's
different
funny. That's the
enough.
beauty of it. Like we have so many
Right?
different personalities in our office, and some people do wear hats or baseball caps and hoodies, but as long as you got your messaging there and you're your own person, it works for those people.
And you are using most of the time this whiteboard where
Yeah.
it says Tito press play
Yeah,
or something.
typically I write, hi Tito, press play, or I'll write, hey Tito at Alti Sales. So just something that catches your eye that is personalized to you.
Right. So I know when I look at that image that comes through, and I'm going to screenshot my screen once you send this over to me. Once I look at that image, right, in this case, we won't have it because it's we just improvise here. But I would see a little whiteboard mentioning my name in the preview of the video. So when I press that, then like it's a call to action, right? Like
Yeah, you'll
press the
have that thumbnail where you see my face, you see the whiteboard, and that play button is so powerful.
That is awesome. I'm really excited. Cool. We talked about training, secret sauce, team structure, all these other things. We can talk about what are your favorite SDR incentives, or what are some cool things that Vidyard does in-house, or any other topics. What else do you think the audience can learn from you?
I mean, everyone is different, whether they want like a money incentive or being recognized, or just putting their head down and doing the work. I like getting recognized, and I like those incentives to work for, and I like that friendly competition. And yeah, Vidyard does that really well. They do like weekly competitions. They'll do monthly spiffs like the BDR March Madness, and then you have your quarterly quota, and then a little trip for the top BDR. So I'm really excited for that. Just trying to work towards that and go from there.
That is awesome. Yeah. From everything we talked about, it seems like Vidyard got it pretty well set up. Lots of training, good structure, great team, lots of knowledge. Just everything you've said today makes a lot of sense, and you're doing great work and just leveraging your own tool, which is awesome. This might almost feel like Vidyard is sponsoring us, but they're not. Maybe I should. I should ask them to send me a check or something. Nah,
I
joking.
should also mention that I love the fact that in this role, it's, the flexibility. I think a lot of sales reps want that. And they also, I mean, not trying to put a little post in for them, but they also offer health and wellness benefits, and the list goes on, unlimited vacation, you name it. So they're really good to their employees.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. So there you go. Video doing a great job. Jess here, killing it at over 200% of quota. You have great insights. Jess, if people want to get in touch with you, ask you questions about what you've done today, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can hit me up on LinkedIn or email me at jessica.wilson@vidyard, vidyard.com.
Cool. Awesome. The audience, if you're watching, if you've never seen my videos, scroll all the way down to this blog post and click follow, or just find my profile, add me on LinkedIn. I like connecting with everybody who is an SDR. I do a lot of cool work with SDRs and just bringing you awesome insights and ideas and so on. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Just connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much, Jess, for your time, and hopefully the audience enjoys this.
Thanks so much, Tito. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Bye bye.
See ya.